Is this thing on? The show is live. We are lit. Thank you for tuning in. It's the Michael Jackson Show. Woo-wee! I ain't gonna lie because I almost forgot to turn this on because I was in here watching a TV show. I mean, I was prepped and ready for the show, but also at the same time was just chilling and then kind of started, I don't know. The shit is funny. If you haven't had it to do so, you can go on Netflix, check out this show called I'm Sorry. Baby Jonathan, shout out to you, bro. What's cracking? Thank you for tuning in. Dan, you know what? John, I had my Lakers hat on earlier. I almost wore that on the show. I hear they're trying to reopen the facility, trying to get that open before May 15th, which I guess is when their stay-at-home order ends. Hopefully that happens, man, because I have a feeling there's going to be people on the team that need to be getting shots up now just in case the season come back on, because I know we got a lot of talent on that roster, but none of these guys should just assume they're going to be able to come back and just turn it back on and just win the championship. So hopefully they can get back to work soon, and that way we can get some of these games going. I don't know, man. I hope the Lakers can pull off the unthinkable. Well, not really the unthinkable, because I think most of us assume that they're going to win the NBA Finals, but that's if we have an NBA Finals, so we'll see. But shout out to Big Baby Jonathan being a fan of the show. Bro, let me know when you need me to pull up on your show, man. Talk some basketball, get it cracking. We are live on YouTube as well as live on Track Talk Radio. Shout out to you if you're listening via Track Talk Radio. You can't hear me talking currently because you're just listening to the music. What are they listening to? Listening to some old Kanye West, Dark Fantasy. And then after that, they got some Lloyd Banks coming on. Shit. Lloyd Banks, man, that is a OG rapper. I feel like Lloyd Banks is very underrated. I don't feel like people really give him the respect that he deserves, because Lloyd Banks really has bars and really was killing it in underground hip hop for a very long time. So we need to salute to Lloyd Banks. Show him the respect that he deserves, people. He's got bars. Let's see. We got Priscilla's going to be joining us probably around 7:30 or so. We got a live show. If you guys have been watching The Last Dance, you're way ahead of me. I honestly have not watched any of this yet, other than what they've shown like on the internet and little clips here and there. I don't know why. I've just been watching other things. I figure I'll watch it all when I can just run all the way through it start to finish. That's kind of how I am with shows. But it is interesting to see how people talked about this most recent episode, and they talked a lot about Dennis Rodman, which is a player that I really loved growing up and someone who I kind of followed their story a little bit, and kind of I don't know if it's rise and fall, but if you know anything about Dennis Rodman's background, came from a really hard upbringing and then kind of molded himself into a crazy good basketball player. Like, he's somebody that was not expected to do much of anything in life. And then he turned out to be who he was. But he also is understand it from an adult perspective. Whereas when we were a kid, it was just like, oh, he's just with this, girl who's on, was she on Baywatch or some shit like that? And so that's how most people knew her, is from her being half naked in a bathing suit, and then Dennis Rodman being a basketball player. But find out in this documentary that her and Dennis have been everywhere around the Bulls practice facility, getting it in, doing whatever. And I guess they have really highlighted kind of how wild and off the chain Dennis really was. So although I said I wanted to wait until, they released all the episodes so I could watch start to finish, I might have to just sit and watch this tomorrow, because I want to see and get more details about how crazy Dennis was. But I thought it was interesting because it's crazy to think that this really interesting character was getting it in with all of these girls who were considered like the bad chicks of their time. And one of them was this one. Honestly don't really know what else she's famous for. Now that I'm thinking about it, like I can't remember anything that she's in besides freaking Baywatch. What is she in? And I think she's in like one of those scary movies or like a parody type of film. I think she did one of those and was kind of famous. But other than that, for the most part, I think that she's just one of those people that just have really, really good looks or whatever, I suppose. So uh but yeah, like I said, interesting to hear about this stuff again and then be able to kind of soak it in from an adult perspective. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna watch this shit tomorrow, and then on Thursday I'm gonna get my take on my man Dennis, because we could probably do a whole show on Dennis Rodman, because even some of the stuff we're gonna talk about today, like one of his homies is we don't know if the guy's dead or alive. Some people think he's dead. Some people think he's alive, because you remember Dennis Rodman is like homies with Kim Jong Un, whatever buddy's name is. Like him and Dennis Rodman are friends. So when I say that Dennis Rodman is a character and a very interesting man, I don't need to see the Last Dance documentary at this point to know all those things about him. I already know that shit. So we're gonna get into it several days from now. Maybe on Thursday's show we'll get into it. Man, let me go ahead and intro this show. Yo, welcome to the Minkle Jackson Show. We're live on Track Talk Radio. Man, it's gonna be a lit show. I was just talking about Dennis Rodman, which for those of you who have not been watching The Last Dance, you were kind of more on my speed. I haven't watched it either as an adult, because when I heard him as a child, some of the stuff didn't seem real. It almost seemed like like if you've seen how Dennis was acting during the games, how he showed up with the hair and the piercings, all that, it literally was like having like a clown out on the court, but the guy's just killing it, playing hard. But his off the court life was wild. Like I remember Buddy, he did a photo shoot where he's wearing a wedding dress. I mean, I think he was like married to or dated Madonna, Carmen Electra. Like there's rumors of him being with like Tony Braxton. Like, I mean, my man Dennis was a character. So what I was saying before we intro the show is that I'm planning on, watching this Last Dance documentary, because I wasn't planning to watch it because I wanted to see all the episodes start to finish. So I was just going to wait until it was done. But like I said, Dennis is a character. We love interesting and strange people on this show. So I want to watch it so I can hear these stories as an adult and be able to hear them and be able to understand them. Because like I said, when I was a kid hearing this stuff, you don't know what half the crazy stuff he was doing even really meant. I mean, depending on what it was, this guy like, yo, my man, like, what the hell is going on with you? So one of the things that I thought was really funny and why it prompted me to bring it up was the fact that I saw a thing today where they talked about how Dennis and Carmen had basically been smashing and dashing all around the Bulls practice facility. And when you think about that, you're thinking about think about if you knew, you know what, it kind of reminded me of Dwight and Angela. Because imagine you just have somebody and you're at your workplace and y'all are just all around the building bumping rump. It's just funny to me. So I saw that little post floating around and I was like, yo, you know what? We might as well watch this Last Dance thing. And even though it's not going to be all the episodes, I'll just have to watch it and then start watching weekly with everybody else. But like I said, Dennis was an amazing basketball player, rebounder, hella tough. But he did some wild ass shit off the court, man. So shout out to Dennis Rodman. And like I said, it's crazy to think that he's friends with this Korean guy who we don't know if the guy's dead or alive. Maybe he's living out a weekend at Bernie's scenario. I don't know. So I've seen reports today that say that that Kim Jong Un or whatever buddy's name is apparently has been like, it was weird because like 2 days ago they were talking about he was dead due to a failed heart surgery. So we don't really know what's true. Honestly, I think they're saying that he's in a hideout or some shit, because if they confirm that he's dead, maybe the people around the city will start wilding out. But if they'll probably wild out like just in celebration, because Buddy's not a good dude. I don't think his people want to have anything to do with him. So I'm sure they would be very happy if he did come up missing. But in order to make sure that order is maintained, that you don't lose control of the masses, they probably don't want to release that information yet. But I don't know, man. It's weird that you would go out of your way to basically say that this guy's gone. And I know TMZ is a garbage ass news source, but like, it's not like their stuff is inaccurate. And they were the first ones to report it, at least the first that I've seen. So like, we have to assume that this shit is real. But at the same time, people from over in that area are saying that maybe he's alive and he's just hiding out somewhere. I don't know what to believe. I think he's dead, but I don't think they want to like say that shit. But either way, that's one of Dennis's homeboys. So we're not going to give a shout out to that guy, but we will give a shout out to Dennis Rodman. If you hadn't had a chance on ESPN, check out those Last Dance documentary series. It's all about Michael Jordan and why that person to be LeBron. And LeBron actually will be third, because if Michael Jordan is first, then Kobe automatically has to be two, because he's literally a carbon copy of Michael Jordan. I know that is a very unpopular opinion, and a lot of people don't want to admit that, but that's literally just the facts. Those two players are pretty much identical. Magic Johnson and LeBron are more comparable, and so naturally, most people used to have Magic maybe at 3. You slide him down to the 4th or 5th spot. You put Bron at 3, Jordan, Kobe, Bron. And then you can even start filling in people after that. Magic, Bird, that's probably top 5. Wilt, Shaq, you can start going down like that, whatever. But it's okay for Bron not to be the greatest of all time. It's okay. That's all I'm going to say on it. Want to hear me talk more about this sports stuff? Make sure you tune into my other show on Friday called Starters on the Bench. We're live from 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch. Meanquil Jackson, ENT, no spaces. That's the handle. So make sure you subscribe. Follow me on there, and you can argue with me about LeBron and Jordan and Kobe all you want. Because I know there's hella people that tune in to the stuff that I do, and people that follow my pages, and they're really big LeBron James fans. And I respect that. And I think Bron is great. I really do. But he's not better than Jordan, and that's okay. He's not better than Kobe, and that's okay. But Bron is great in his own right, and it's okay for him to be that. Like, KD and Bron aren't the same type of player. KD's just as great as Bron, but like, is KD better than Bron? Maybe not. I don't know. Y'all, if y'all want to argue that shit. That seems like a more fun argument, because at least those guys played games against each other. They've kind of taken a similar route when it comes to winning their championships. Though that's a more comparable matchup. Leave the Jordan thing alone. Let it be Jordan, and then put Bron at 3 or lower. That's where he should be on your list. If you've actually watched the games, that's where he should be on your list. And obviously, if you have Bron higher than 3, that means you probably didn't watch a lot of basketball in your life. Just my honest opinion. Let's see. Like I said, I think we got Priscilla calling in about 15 minutes. We're gonna check in with her. We're going to ask her opinion. So there's a story that has popped up. Again, this is something that I want to make sure that I'm respectful and cautious of, because I didn't actually watch the Surviving R.Kelly documentary. And I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of it is because I didn't need to watch it to know that R. Kelly was a scumbag. I also am one of these people that, and like everybody should be, I'm someone who gets very uncomfortable by that stuff. I'm all about listening to survivor stories, but this one with R. Kelly tends to stress me out more than others, because of the fact that there's so many people that allowed him to have this continuous access to these young girls, and they allowed him to be in a space where he could inflict harm on these people. So it's almost one of those things where I'm just like, nah, I'm too disgusted by it. I can't. It like literally makes me sick. So it's kind for me. It's comparable to. Do you remember if you've ever seen the movie Aliens? It's the only movie that I've never been able to eat through. It made me sick because there's a scene where the alien has a baby alien, and the way that thing comes out, that shit was horrifying to me. This is obviously 10 million times worse, but for me, that is something that like I could not stomach. I can't sit through. I cannot sit through this R.Kelly documentary. But again, the main reason is because I didn't need to watch it to know that he's a scumbag. Apparently, this lady who I guess is his wife or partner, I know he was like a person who was not a monogamous type of guy, women, but Azriel Clary, I guess she has come out and she says that she's now ready to tell her story. And this is that she wants to talk about the last 5 years she spent with R. Kelly. But recently, and I think we did a story on her probably about a month ago. Probably it could have been longer than that, but we talked about how she came out and said, and Priscilla might have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say she came out and said that Buddy made her eat her own feces or eat his feces or some shit like that. Like I said, didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to know that a human that we all held in such high regard was allowed to be in a space where he made other humans participate in activities like this. And I'm also like one of those people that I start to get frustrated on watch this stuff because, and it's not, I promise you, I'm not victim shaming. I think just for me, because I always, it's probably not fair for me to do this when I watch it, but I start to think like, what would I do in these situations? And I think I'm always like, well, no, I would have said something, or I would have got up out of it. And I know that it's not that simple. So I think I tend to put myself in like a foul space when I take in this type of content. So I have not watched this yet, but it is on my list of things this week to watch. That way, after we do this story tonight, we can revisit it either on Thursday or on Sunday. So it is on my list to watch, but that is why I hadn't watched it up to this point. But I'm going to ask Priscilla's take on this because I think she did watch this. And when we had talked about the other story, she had mentioned some of this stuff. And I want her to give her feedback about that. But yeah, we're going to get into the R. Kelly thing. I thought it was funny that R. Kelly was trying to get out of jail or prison, wherever he's at, because he was worried about coronavirus. But it's like, fam, no one's going to let you out, because if we're hoping that anybody gets it, you are definitely one of those people. 100% guaranteed. Obviously, we want everybody to stay healthy. We don't want anybody to get it because people can spread it. But like, if you're hoping that it's going to come for somebody, R. Kelly is probably one of those people because, like I said, he's a scumbag. We are also going to talk about, so on Sunday, I did a quick little story. We talked about this Michigan lawmaker person dude who wore the little mask that he had on was like a Confederate flag or some shit like that. Stuff that no one really cares about. People just like to make a fuss about it because anyone who flies that shit is garbage. But the main reason to poke the holes that need to be poked in people's apologies. And I like to point out why the apology is garbage and insincere. Mainly because a lot of times when these white people, when they come with these apologies, they always talk about, well, it's one mistake and we shouldn't allow it to ruin somebody's life. And, it's just one time and we should just let this go. And like, we shouldn't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Like this person's good. They're a good kid. Let's not do anything that's too crazy because we don't want to hurt their futures and blah, blah, blah. But it always seems to be very different when the person who is being accused of something or has done something and has been caught for it, when that person is a person of color, then those same white people talk about how it's a personal responsibility to do better, to know better, and to like, why'd you allow this to happen? And you shouldn't have done this because you should know this and you should do that. And so I think tonight we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I think I want to like at least kind of touch on why that shit is so garbage. And why, when these little stories pop up, why it seems like I'm, wanting to crucify some of these kids and some of these young adults who make these decisions. And it's not because we want their lives to be over, but we want them to face the same type of consequences that other people face. And the apologies that they give, we want them to understand that we know that it's not real, it's not sincere. Because when you start to play with this type of, so like when it's racial, like that's like playing with fire. Like, you know better. And I understand that there are some of these people, they're raised by people who know nothing but hate. I definitely get that. But we live in an age where you have equal opportunity to go out. You can seek out resources to educate yourself. And you could grow out of a lot of those habits. So like the girl who made the video with her boyfriend and then she was being hella racist, all that. And she came out and was like, look, it's just a mistake. And I didn't realize that my boyfriend was going to make me turn into such a hateful person. Like, she didn't take any responsibility or hold herself accountable, blamed it all on him. And then tried to put blame on the general population because people were threatening her or being rude to her on social media, shit like that. And like that to me is, like I said, it's one of the issues. It's like, you didn't want to hold yourself. We know you didn't learn your lesson, but like, and beg for forgiveness. Your parents don't have to have their lives threatened. You don't have to be clowned on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook. Like, you can avoid that shit, but you make that choice. You actively make that choice to hit that record button and say those things on that video. And then I heard that she said something in like another like interview or some little posting she did where she was like, well, I've seen tons of videos like that and I don't see you guys saying anything to them. And it's like, well, we're saying something to you. And if you saw these videos, you knew that they were wrong. Why did you make a video that was similar to the ones that you saw that you knew were wrong? Doesn't make any sense. So we'll kind of talk about, these fake ass apologies that happen all the damn time. I'm sure another one happened today. There's always somebody who's getting caught slipping, doing the wrong thing, but it's not a shock. Guys, you guys should go on Gatorade.com and you can custom make yourself a GX bottle. This thing is dope, and it came with these little pod things. So it's kind of like put the thing in there, you press it down, it puts the little mix in the thing, and you latch it, you shake it, you're good to go, man. You can even customize it. I put my name on this. I put Meanco at the top, got the Lakers logo. So hey, Lake Show all day. And yeah, man, this shit is pretty dope. So you should check that out. I don't know why, man. I just needed a new water bottle. That way, if a gym ever opens up, I'm pulling up. And because I'm not gonna be touching that water fountain. I promise you that. So it's good to get a new water bottle. You should invest in one. It's a great thing to have. Again, man, I'm wondering, is Kim Jong-un dead or alive? Does anybody know? If you know, hit me up. We want to talk about something that's funny. So you have a lot of people who have been giving the citizens a really hard time about staying home. A lot of these people are high-ranking officials in our government and our law enforcement agencies. And about her the other day where apparently she violated the stay-at-home order so she could go get her nails done. Listen, at this point, you all know you don't want to stay at home. Why have yourself be one of the people that ends up on a video screaming at the general public about how stupid they are for going outside and this and that, and oh my God, you guys are such terrible people, and da 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 da, when you know damn well you want to go outside? If there's anything in you that is telling your body to get up and walk outside to go be active, do not get on the internet talking about how all these people are garbage because they're outside and they're making it worse and we're not going to flatten the curve and blah, 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 blah. Because the shit, what a freaking goof. Probably one of the main people out here yelling at everybody, telling them to stay home, and then look at it. She had to get her nails done. The funniest part about it is that I saw something where someone put a comment saying she looked like the ringleaders of all the Karens, because she had the whole haircut. You know how they get where it's like the really short cut with the little swoop over the top, and they get real big glasses, you know, and they always look like they're about to go, excuse me, you know, like, excuse me, let me talk to the manager. Like, you know, so this lady looked exactly like that. So they're roasting her ass all the way up. She's looking like a bozo. I mean, I hope she doesn't end up, you know, getting the coronavirus all because she went to get her nails done. That would be super unfortunate. But we're starting to see a lot of these people who opted to go out. Like I heard that the one lady who was leading one of those protests and was out there saying that COVID-19 was fake, but was in the whole hazmat suit with the mask on and the gloves and all that. I heard that that person ended up getting it. Who knows if it was because they were outside at the time. Maybe they already had it before they even went to the protest, but damn, you look stupid as hell holding up a sign that says that the shit is fake. And that, because if it was fake, why are you wearing hell holding up a sign that says that the shit is fake? And that, because if it was fake, why are you wearing the hazmat suit? And why are you wearing a mask over your face? And then if you still in a hazmat suit, and why are you wearing a mask over your face? And then if you still in a clinic for a visit, their protocols right now are that everybody entering the campus has to have a mask on. Tell me why they got my man on tape walking around with like 15, 16 people all wearing masks, and he's the only person in there not wearing one. Bro, I'm telling you, bro, white guys just don't have any fear. They do not care about this shit. Either that or maybe rumors are true. And maybe a lot of the White House representatives already got vaccinated. So maybe he's not wearing his mask because he just doesn't give a fuck and he knows he's not about to die from that shit. But nobody else in the room around him got that fucking vaccination. It's probably just him. I don't know. Maybe that's a conspiracy theory. Or maybe it's the truth. Who the fuck knows? Let's see, man. We're about to take a short, quick little break. Yeah, I know I gave you short and quick and little all this. As we get into that, I want to ask you guys about Gervonta Davis. Do we know who this guy is? He's a boxer, right? I'm very confused because I thought he was extremely rich, and then I heard the other day that he tried to buy $250,000 worth of jewelry with a fake check. And I'm wondering, why are niggas still using checks to pay for stuff? Don't people just use Apple Pay or you know, your debit card, your credit card using a check, fam? I don't even know how to still use a check, which is crazy. We're going to talk about him. We're also going to talk about Pastor Tony Spell. Now, we did a story on him like a week or two ago because he's the guy who basically was violating the stay-at-home order and still trying to hold church services. And then he got arrested for assault. And then this past Sunday, they showed him at his church service, and he was trying to flex for the congregation that he had his house arrest ankle monitor on, and that he basically was violating that shit. So another example of a white guy who just does not care. Pastor Tony Spell, ladies and gentlemen, he's a complete bozo, but we're going to get into a story about him. And then also after, we're going to talk about how today it sounds like the government finally confirmed UFOs, but the weirdest thing is that it almost seems like nobody out here cares because Rona is still the top story. Sherry's in the chat. Sherry, hey, yo, what's good with it? But yeah, we're going to talk about freaking UFO. So we're going to take a short break. If you're listening on Track Talk Radio, get ready for some music. We got some 50 Cent, some Lloyd Banks. You might hear some Black Rob tonight. We're rap heavy, but that's just because it's Tuesday and I'm lit. So Like I said, hopefully when we get back, we'll have Priscilla join us. But we will return shortly. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Meaningful Jackson Show. We are live on Track Talk Radio every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Also streaming live on YouTube on those days. Let's get it. UFOs. Who doesn't love a good UFO? Man, you know what's crazy? The city that I came from for a long time when I was growing up, was like one of the lot. But as I grew older, I kind of just figured like people were at, and apparently they were seeing them a lot. But as I grew older, I kind of just figured like maybe they were just high. Maybe they were just high. Also, a lot of these folks just be lying so they can get some clout, man. Because I mean, you know, I don't know, man. Some of these white folks ain't really that interesting. So I can't blame them if they make up stories about UFOs because they know people will believe that shit. And then maybe you look a little bit cooler at the bar, maybe get some free drinks on the beach or some shit like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because it's not like I ever met the person who started the stories about the UFOs. We don't know if it's James would call in. Because I'm willing to bet that James has some good UFO conspiracy theories. I have none because I'm somebody that don't believe. Let me rephrase. It's not that I don't believe in aliens. Excuse me. I'm just one of those people that believes that aliens look at us and don't believe in aliens. Excuse me. I'm just one of those people that believes that aliens look at us and they say, we're not going down there to hang out with these stupid motherfuckers. I firmly believe, because if we really believe that aliens are superior in intelligence, there's no way in hell that they don't look at us all the damn time and say, look how stupid these damn people are. So I don't think aliens want to fuck with us because how lame we are. We're like those kids at school that, you know, be in the 10th grade still wetting themselves and shit like that. And the same little nigga that wears the hoodie every day, but he's riding a bus being a weirdo. Like those are humans. And then all the rest of the groups of kids at school are the aliens. And so you remember how at the school you went to, they probably picked on that kid, and that shit was wrong because kids are ruthless. But we all know that there was that kid. That is human beings as a whole. They probably picked on that kid, and that shit was wrong because kids are ruthless. But we all know that there was that kid. That is human beings as a whole. Aliens are the rest. They don't want to fuck with us, and I get it. It's because we're all losers. Aliens are the rest. They don't want to fuck with us, and I get it. It's because we're all losers. I mean, just look at where we are as a people. We have so many. Oh, Priscilla's calling in. Let me get back to it. Priscilla, what's up, dog? Let me get back to it. Priscilla, what's up, dog? Oh, hold up. What's up? I was riffing on how it's not that I don't believe in aliens, but I just don't think aliens want to fuck with us because I think aliens think we're stupid. I firmly believe that.
I definitely think there's aliens.
Do you think there's aliens walking among us and like reporting back? So that's what I'm saying. I think the reason why we haven't had them like come back to Earth is because they abducted a few people every few years and they really just realized that, yo, these motherfuckers don't improve. They stay stupid. They still only think with their genitals. Like they don't grow more than about 7 feet tall at the max. Like these people can't do a whole lot. Like I think compared
all we do is destroy.
What's that?
I said all we do is destroy shit.
That's what I'm saying. We can't handle nothing. We're like I don't think they want to fool with us yet. We haven't proven that we deserve to be in the presence of aliens. Because if they really wanted to come here, so if we are believers that they exist, if they really want to come here, They could have been here already. And they probably are here and have people planted that have taken on the shape of, human form, or it's just people that look really, really ugly. But you're like, well, I mean, I guess they're human, but like they're still mad ugly, and makeup and plastic surgery and shit like that's not fixing it, but they're still really ugly. Those are probably the alien people, and they're reporting back, you know what I'm saying? And like kind of just telling them how we just always fucking this shit up. I don't know, man.
Apparently, there's tons of different species on Earth.
Of alien? Yeah. Have you seen some of these people walking around? I wouldn't doubt it. Let me stop, man. I'm being a little bit disrespectful.
Right, we're gonna get kicked off again.
I'm more worried about the fact that I'm calling a lot of these people. So we should have a pass for the evening to talk about aliens without being kicked off the air. I think that's fair. So what do you? Okay, so before we get into this, I also want to tell you I need your take on Asriel Clary. So you know who that is, right?
Yeah, she was with R.Kelly, right? She just came out saying that she was gonna like release her story or whatever.
Yeah, but isn't this the same girl that we talked about like 2 weeks ago who was saying that R.Kelly made her eat her own doo-doo?
I believe so. I'm like, is that what she said? I hear
it was either her or another girl, but I know we did a story recently where we talked about how someone was saying R. Kelly made them eat their own doo-doo. Unless I just dreamed that shit, which I hope to God I did not dream that.
I know his first wife, like how he was keeping bitches in dog cages, and like they were only allowed to eat what he said and when he said, and all this sort of crazy shit.
Y'all see why I told you I can't watch that documentary. I don't know if I'll be able to physically sit there and hear people tell me that they were locked in cages and ate their own doo-doo in order to please him. That's a crazy notion to me. Like, I can't imagine ever being the type of guy that's like, yo, in order for me to get pleasure, I need you to put pieces of cucumber in your ear and then spread them out on a pizza and then eat it out of your genitals. Like, that's a weird thing to me. And I know it's weird that I just came up with that. That shit is crazy. Don't worry, I'm not ever making somebody do that shit. But to think that R. Kelly was even weirder than where I just took you, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. I can't do that. Can't do it. What else do I need you to riff on? Is this a Weekend at Bernie's scenario, or is Buddy dead or not? What's the deal? Kim Jong-un, is he dead or what?
He's dead and they don't want to tell the U.S. nothing about it. Or he is still I feel like he's dead and they don't want to tell the U.S. nothing about it. Or he is still in the vegetative state or whatever. Apparently he's been kicking it in some place since like the 13th of April, they said. Apparently he's been kicking it in some place since like the 13th of April, they said.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not buying that.
I'm not buying it either. So what I think he is dead. But I think that they don't want to actually confirm it, because when you confirm it, you probably end up losing control of your citizens. I don't think they really care that much about America yet, because if anything, all it does for America is it basically will probably just take our foot off the gas a little bit in regards to how we defend ourselves against them. Unless you come to find out that his sister is going to take over and that she's, just as crazy, if not worse. I don't know, because I don't know anything about those people. But I would assume that if it is confirmed that he's dead, then it just means that we'll rest a little bit easier. But I think their citizens over there will end up going crazy, and crazy as like in celebrating because of how garbage he is. They're gonna turn that place upside down. It'll be like after like when the Lakers won a championship all them years ago, when they're like burning LA up and flipping cars over and shit like that. And I'm telling you, they're gonna riot if they find out. Korea, they can do whatever they want, but not over here. Please don't riot. Also, Priscilla.
Yes.
If you knew that I'm dead. You know what's gonna be funny though? If Tom ever see this, I know Tom's gonna be upset, and I'm sure Tom and his people might want to try to come for me. All I'm gonna say is, if you're gonna come for me, I just ask that everybody that want to try something, it has to be a one-on-one fight, and I want Chet first. If it's not one-on-one, don't bother me. This is just jokes. But if y'all want the ones, like, we can get. Okay. We also, my last little sports thing is, did you see how the Lakers, so you know how a lot of the, like, whatever fund is set up to help small businesses, they've still been like handing these checks to people. Story on that, and they said they gave theirs back after a lot of scrutiny, but the Los Angeles Lakers got a $4.6 million payment that was intended for a small business. The Lakers. I couldn't believe that.
I heard.
So my thing is how does, if that's a mistake, how does that even happen? Or are they just looking at things like that and they're only giving these loans out to people they know they'll get the returns from? Like, I wonder if that's a thing.
Wow, that's a good possibility, though. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Now, I did say that the Lakers returned the payment, but like I said, I'm still like, when I read that, I was just like, well, how'd you even get the payment in the first place? Why are you even applying for some shit like that? Because the minute,
I thought you had to apply.
That's what I'm saying. The minute that sports open up, you are not going to be somebody who's hurting for money. That $4.6 million, that's money that Jeannie Buss wipes her ass with. Like, she didn't need that money at all. So I'm wondering why they're even applying for some shit like that, then when they don't need it. Seems sketchy.
I don't know about all that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. All right, so let's go. We gotta get the show back on Track Talk Radio. They just been listening to music. Sometimes we get carried away. Hey, stop the music, man. That weekend record's like 7 minutes long. We don't got time for that. Welcome back to Track Talk Radio, man. This is the Michael Jackson Show, which is live on Track Talk Radio. We have Priscilla joining us live from Las Vegas, the city that has been dead asleep for the last couple of months. How is Vegas, Priscilla? Tell us about what life is like in Las Vegas.
Oh, wow. It actually, honestly, it's not that bad. It sucks because they've closed the outside. Like, I'm a big hiker, and so all the trails are like closed down. And at first I was like, oh, well, F it. Nobody's really going to be on these trails anyways. But they have police, like, policing the area.
Damn.
So, like, they for real they closed the outside. So it's been like, it sucks for my kids, because we talk about this all the time. My kids are crazy. I love them, but they're crazy. But yeah, other than that,
just living.
What else can you do? We're supposed to be opening up though in a few weeks, so we shall see.
Yeah, that's good news. Yeah, I read somewhere today that Seattle's going to be, I think, reopening like the trails and golf courses and stuff like that. Like, I think on the 1st, they said maybe. I could be wrong about that date, or it could be closer to the middle of the month, but I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I'm not gonna just start taking up golf just so I can go outside, but it might not be a bad activity to get involved with if they're opening up the golf course. But that motherfucker is gonna be packed. Those fees are gonna be crazy. I wonder if it's worth it just to be outside.
I don't know, man. I miss the outside. I go to Starbucks in the morning and then I go pick up orders, whether it be groceries or Target. That's my life these days.
Target. What's it going to be like when you go consecutive days without going to Target?
I will be so happy. I just want to be able to go wander Target. I miss those days.
Oh, you ain't already been doing that? See, I feel like I'm always walking around Target. They love me in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I love Target.
I'm always in Target. All right, so welcome to the Meaningful Jackson Show. We're live on Track Talk Radio. Before we went to break, we had talked about how we were going to get into how our government has confirmed UFOs. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm glad that we have Priscilla online so she can. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson want to donate their blood to help with corona vaccine. I'm sorry, I said that wrong at first. Is this something that we care about? Like, and I'm wondering what can someone please explain to me, why is Tom Hanks the guy? What does Tom Hanks do for us all as a people that has us like, yo, if we need somebody, it's Tom Hanks. Like, I'm not thinking about him as like a go-to for anything. And his movies are just okay to me. Why is he the guy?
I'd love to know. I feel like people, I want to explain to people, like, his movie roles and who he is as a person are two completely separate things.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you remember it was like this is the perfect example of like the type of guys we want raising men in this country. And then look how he turned out. Forget about that. That's why I'm confused about Tom Hanks. But either way, like I said, I don't know Tom Hanks personally. I don't know Rita Wilson personally. I just hear all the stories, and I'm somebody that, like, I just read body language and listen to comments that they make. It's creepy shit, man. That's all I gotta say. So we're gonna talk about that, and speaking of creepy shit, we're gonna talk about, like I said, we talked about UFOs. But the creepiest thing that I want to talk about is Kim Jong-un, and because I'm confused whether or not he's dead or if he's alive. So we'll kind of go back to that because I'm literally scrolling on my phone and on here to see if there's any updates. So by the end of the show, we'll see if there's an update for that, or maybe there won't be. Priscilla, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you kind of because I have not watched it, and for those people who might watch this broadcast at a later date, if they have
these women, and I'm talking about from before Aaliyah, when he very first came out, all the way up until his career now, and they're all basically, it's just done in an interview style, so they're answering questions and telling their stories about how they met Kelly, how they began working with him. And the relationships they had with him, and they're very candid. Like, it's some pretty detailed shit, like some pretty ass shit.
Yeah.
But besides that, like, he basically would get these girls who were underage and then tell them to bring their friends around, and then everyone that was like his little favorite at the time was like, "Oh, you're gonna be a star. Like, you're gonna be my main singer. I'm gonna make a career for you. Like, all this other stuff." So later on in the documentary, you find out that he basically brainwashes these girls to, like, completely disassociate from their family and friends. And then they just disappear for years on end.
Jeez. So let me ask you this. And I think when we talked about this before on the show, I had asked you.
Stories are pretty much the same. Like, she wanted to be a singer. Like, we didn't think anything of it because it was R.Kelly. And I'm like,
that's all the more reason to be cautious.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said that would be all the more reason to be cautious. Like, someone who's in the limelight, always on the move. Like, that doesn't seem like someone who has any type of stability. Enough, at least not enough for a child in those moments. Like, why would you trust your child with that person?
Well, and I also feel like it's a lot, even the girls that came after his first court case with the video where he peed on that girl.
Yeah.
Like, there are cases that happened after that, and they asked him that question. Like, you didn't think it was weird that like, you just sent your daughter away with some man who basically, like, went to court for doing this? And they literally said, we just thought these people got paid off.
Wow.
It's like, oh.
Okay, so is this, I guess, is this his wife or one of his lovers? Is R.Kelly? Is she on this documentary?
I honestly, I can't remember if she's on the first one or not. She's on the second one.
Oh, that's right. There's a second one. What's the second one about?
Yeah, there's two. The second one, I've only watched the first episode of the second one, but basically they went to the premiere of the first one and they all sat down. And as soon as they sat down, security came in and was like, you guys need to be escorted to your vehicles. Like, we've had a threat. Apparently somebody was supposed to come up in there and shoot everybody that was a part of the film.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And they're like talking about in the second one how they're like fearful, how like much their lives have changed since the first one and how they're fearful for their lives.
Yeah. Damn, that's rough. Yeah. Earlier we talked about this. I have not seen this doc. He was a scumbag, and it's not, like I said, it's not that I don't care about these stories, but just for me, I feel like it would be hard to watch because some of the things that I heard from people about these horrific, this stuff apparently as like pleasure and power and control. And I know his brother tried to come out and say that, like, well, when he was young, he got abused and all, there was all these things. And regardless of any of that, some of the stories that I've heard is like stuff that, like, I'm like, it's one of those things. Remember when you say things to kids and they just plug their ears and they start making a weird noise? That's how I feel like I get. That's exactly how I thought that I would get if I watched it. So I have not watched it up to this point, but I do plan to watch it this week. So that way we can either talk about it on Thursday show again or on the Sunday show. Because I don't want to continue to keep talking about it without watching it. But like I said, we know that R. Kelly's a scumbag, but my biggest question is always two questions, actually. What are the fucking parents? And why is there such a delay in some of this information coming out? So for this Azriel girl, and like I said, it's not victim shaming. Obviously, she is free to tell her story when she feels the most comfortable. But because R. Kelly has been kind of under fire for this for so long, I'm wondering, like, why it's taking so long for her to, like, unveil all these things about him. Like, he's gonna go to jail regardless. Like, now, like, just like get this off your chest. It might make you feel better, maybe. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to walk around with this every day and have to struggle and hurt, you know? So I'm interested to see what she plans to do, because she's come out recently saying that she's ready to tell her story after the last 5 years with R. Kelly. And I'm wondering what that is like, because I wonder how crazy the stories are after he's already been under investigation, but like still continuing to do this stuff and then hiding behind a marriage to do it. Because, you know, a lot of men marry these women and they treat them bad because a part of the deal is that the wife usually can't testify against the husband. So they use marriage as a way to finesse control from the women that they're with. So now I'm interested to see what she has to say, but I want to watch all the rest of the stuff too.
Honestly, I'm not going to lie, for about 65% of it had me in tears. And I am not somebody who gets emotional about stuff like that, or like very like emotional when it comes to movies or anything like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people were shedding a lot of tears watching that doc.
I mean, hopefully not all of us, but a majority of us have been in relationships with men who have demonstrated the same type of behavior that he's demonstrated outside of like the underage shit, just like with the control and the manipulation.
Yeah.
And that was like, I think it's scary watching, because as somebody who's been in a relationship like that, you really don't know who people are.
Yeah.
Like, his first wife was with him for years, and she didn't even know that he was keeping bitches hostage in their basement.
Fuck.
Like, I'm talking about like chained to a floorboard in a room. Like a dog.
How do you not know?
That's what I'm saying. Like, she wasn't allowed to go to certain wings of the house at a certain time. Anything she needed, he made it seem like he was trying to take care of her. Oh, they'll just come to the house. You don't have to leave. They'll meet you up in your room type of shit.
Wow.
Wow, yeah. That's
crazy to think. And I've said this, like when I had my old podcast, one of the shows we did was on R.Kelly. Other things, when I've had conversations with people, I've talked about this. I always talk about the fact that because he was rich and an entertainer, he was granted access that most people don't ever receive.
Yeah.
One of the big issues that I kind of have is it's outside of him. It's all the people that surround him that knew about these things. Because think, he went to court for this. What was like the early 2000s? That's when he was on trial for this shit.
Yeah.
So even after the fact, even after going through a trial, he still was doing this. So you have to start looking at the people around him being like, yo, y'all know your man is wilding, being a creep, preying on children, and you're not saying anything.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy.
Well, I think that's like the biggest part of it. And I think that's why they decided to release the documentary, is because even with his fans, there's a lot of people who are so in love with him as an entertainer and his music that they just want to turn the other cheek. And I mean, I admire him as a musician, period.
Yeah.
Like, you really can't touch R. Kelly for what he's done. But in the same token, like, he is this person.
Yeah.
And it's a shame.
Nah,
like, I don't know what much more to say about it but that. But like, damn.
Yeah, it's tough because he's someone who made a lot of good music. Like, I forget what I was doing, but it's funny to think that he's on. Remember, Kirk Franklin has this record called Lean on Me, and it has like Mary J. Blige, like Bono from U2, some like this white girl who's on it, who's hitting the notes that's crazy, that most people aren't supposed to be hitting. She smashed her part. And then R. Kelly is on that record. It's a gospel record. And I'm always, every time I hear it, I'm like, yo, my nigga, that's R. Kelly on that. This whole time, they want to call bullshit, but then it's like, but what if she just really didn't know? What if he's just that good at keeping the secrets? I mean, obviously, time runs out on everybody. You see, none of these people make it until the end without, ending up in front of the judge and the jury or ending up dying for it. But fuck, man, like, you think about how long he got away with this, and the people around him just kind of, if they knew, they allowed it to happen. And even if they didn't, but they felt like they thought he was and they didn't say anything, they're just as guilty.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. And shout out to you for getting out of the situation that you were in. Now you're not, with somebody that's trying to freaking, maintain power and control over you. God, I can't imagine what that's like. And shout out to all you ladies that will watch this or have watched our show or fans of our show. If you've ever been through a situation like this, my thoughts and good vibes go out to you. You are a survivor. You're a soldier. You don't deserve that type of shit. This shit is crazy. I fucking hope that there's nobody that I know who's had them to eat their own shit. That is terrifying to think about. I can't imagine asking another human to do that and then trying to convince them they're not crazy or that this is normal or that everything is okay. I cannot imagine.
Man, there's some crazy ass people.
Bro, that's crazy. Well, shout out to Markel. Markel's a fan of the show. She brings up a great point. She says, if you're on this payroll, do you want the checks to stop coming? And I hate, so playing devil's advocate, yes, I get that, because if you're someone who, and it does not matter, it does not excuse it, but obviously we have these people who come from these impoverished backgrounds. They finally make a come up. It's hard to think of a scenario where you come from nothing, get all the money, and then walk away from the money for some reason. And then people will try to find ways to make sure that every reason that comes in front of them is something that they can just easily turn their back on. And so I think that there probably were a lot of people that did this, where they were like, well, it's not that big of a deal. Or maybe if they approached him about it, he probably was like, I'm sorry, dog, it won't happen again. This is my first time, I swear. And maybe he convinced them to like not say anything, because he would probably promise that he's gonna do it again, or whatever the bullshit excuse that he may have used was. But either way, you probably shouldn't be able to live with yourself if you opted to take the money and the paycheck over doing the right thing and making sure that some of these girls got back home safe to their families. So if you took the money and you didn't help these girls, you're just as garbage as R.Kelly. I think you should do equal time. Why not report? If you see something, you should say something. And an example of that, Markel's you said, look at Urban Meyer. The dude was under him and he turned a blind eye. Yeah. I mean, it's true. Because that's a situation where you look at Urban Meyer, like, yeah, he's doing that because in those moments to him, the program and the future of the program is more important than doing the right fucking thing. That's sad. Very, very sad. All right, let's move on to something a little bit lighter. Priscilla, tell me about UFOs. Ever seen an alien up close?
I have never seen a being up close. I've definitely seen shit in the sky, but I haven't known what it was. It's been quite interesting.
Well, I mean, how great is your vision? Of course, you're not going to be able to see it.
I got 20/20, baby.
I'm about to say, I see everything in the sky. I never know what it is. I mean, planes are obvious because it's loud and it's shaped funny, but half the stuff that's up there floating, you don't even know. I'd be thinking birds or drones and drones are birds. So how do we really know? Listen, man, I don't know if I believe. I don't think I believe in aliens the way we portray aliens to be, if that makes sense. Like, I don't believe that.
Yeah, I know a few people like that.
Like, I don't know if they're like, these things with like really skinny, like light-skinned nigga type of bodies with gigantic ass head. Like, I don't know if that's a thing. But are there some weirdos walking around this place who might be fake alien plants? Probably. So I'm not going to say the aliens, aren't totally real. But I bet the spaceship is probably like a Buick Enclave or something like that, or like a fucking Ford Taurus or something. It's something like that. It's not that shit we saw in Men in Black, man. I don't know. Priscilla, what do you think? You think aliens are coming back to save us?
I don't think it's like the shit we saw in Men in Black, but I definitely think I definitely think I'm over here, mom. So
That's all good.
I definitely think that there's different species that hold different responsibilities and things like that.
Okay, so when they're different species, like what do you imagine these things to look like?
To look like? I see, that's the thing. I feel like they're like the ones here are like shape-shifting, so they probably just look like you and I. Who knows what they're like? There's a whole reptilian thing.
Listen, if you were an alien, would you tell me?
I am an alien. You didn't know that?
I mean, me and you are pretty cool, so I'm not gonna tell anybody. You can tell me. Blink twice if you're in there, and the human part of you is inside of the alien part. Wait, is the alien part your outer part, and you think are you alien inside, human outside? Which one's which?
I feel like alien inside, human outside.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, man. I would honestly, I'm gonna feel like a total goof if like one day we all just see like 1,000 beams of light coming down from the sky and then aliens pull up. I'll probably turn on the YouTube live in that moment and be like, look, I was wrong. I fucked it up. These motherfuckers do exist. They do have these big ass heads, blah, blah, blah. I'm heading up. But I really just don't think that that's going to happen in my lifetime. Now, like I said, if the aliens are listening, y'all feel free to pull up, come get me first. Just make sure I can bring some snacks and bring some weed. And I hope if they're going to take me on a spaceship, that shit better have more leg room than the damn Spirit Airlines. I'll tell you like that. Because I'll be one unhappy camper if I get abducted and have to be in some cramped ass freaking spaceship coupe. Because I'm 6'4", man. I'm not a small human. But they maybe don't care about that. I don't know. Maybe aliens are like 12 feet tall and maybe everything that they do is just big as fuck. So I'm going to have plenty of room. I'm going to be like sitting in an old Cadillac or something. That'd be dope. All right, man.
20-foot Cadillac.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so speaking of aliens, how much do you know about Dennis Rodman?
I used to have the biggest crush on Dennis Rodman.
God, what made you have a crush on Dennis Rodman?
I don't know. I was always a weird kid. That's a good question. It's a really good question.
What did it?
I don't know. Like, I used to love the fact that he was just weird.
He was definitely an interesting character. So obviously he's dated some of Hollywood's former finest, Madonna at one point, Carmen Electra. He's rumored to have, been in some dating scenarios with Toni Braxton. But obviously him and Carmen, they had spent some significant time together. Now, recently they've had these Last Dance documentaries that have been coming out about the Chicago Bulls. And one of the things that they had on there was saying that Dennis and Carmen were banging out everywhere in the Bulls practice facility. And for me, I was thinking like, yo, that's kind of wild, bro. Like bringing your girl to work on the regular, smashing on the regular at your job. And now
I don't know. I'd be cool with it.
I mean, listen, I'm one of those people where I listen. I don't know if I'm in his shoes in that moment. I know if I'm Dennis Rodman, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks. So you're just doing what you want to do. But when you're in that situation where the person who basically runs everything is Michael Jordan, I don't know if that's the thing that I want to do to set him off because he's all about winning. Like, I feel like if, maybe pull up to the parking lot, maybe go outside or something, but in the practice facility, because what if Mike catch you and then he want to scream at you and then make you shoot 10,000 free throws or something? Like, I don't know if it's worth having beef with, that caliber of a player on your team because he can prevent you from playing potentially. Maybe. I don't know. But then again, if Carmen Electra is your girlfriend, you probably don't have a choice. She probably was taking it. She just was.
Well, I'm saying, like, yes. I don't even know how he bagged her to begin with.
I don't know how he bagged the girls to begin with. I mean, he doesn't seem like the type who, like, I don't know. I just, like, when I think of, like, how Dennis Rodman was, I just assume that most women would just be terrified of him.
What are you trying to say?
Listen, if you were, I feel like for a guy like that, if you have a stomach for that, that means you're prepared to do some wild and crazy stuff. I think that's facts.
That is facts. You're right.
Yeah. So I also need to watch these documentaries because I want to see some of the stuff they were talking about with Dennis. Because I know Dennis was wilding, but he played his heart out, man. He was a great player. But he's a wild boy. I still remember him doing that photo shoot where he's wearing that wedding dress.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Or he was at some event or something, or maybe that was his own wedding. I don't fucking know. He just was always doing something weird. Yeah, it's always doing something weird. So not a surprise. Um, did you see where the Texas mayor violated the stay-at-home order to go get her nails done?
I did.
All right, what do you think about that?
I know somebody who did it. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, here's the thing though, like if you're wearing masks, I think it's pretty hypocritical if she's like, you know, the mayor and shit. But if you're wearing masks and I don't know, like it's getting to the point where I'm like, you guys, we're gonna have to like somewhat try and go back to normal eventually. Protect yourself.
Yeah.
Walk, take the bubble bath and don antibacterial. That's what I told Steph today.
But don't inject yourself with disinfectant. People, please, Lord. I will say this. I think she's kind of lame because she probably was urging her citizens to stay home and not go out. But I think at this point, we have so many places opening up, and you've seen that the grocery stores they've had their success as far as managing people expectations, all that type of stuff. I think if you put the rules in place and people can abide by the rules a little bit, it is one of those things now at this point. It's kind of like you live your life, you go about things at your own risk, and people are going to do what they want to do, man. Because listen, nail techs want to make money. People want their nails to look good. Barbershops and other businesses, like people want to live their freaking lives, man. And like, yeah, it sucks because there's a virus and there's a chance that you could lose so many lives, and we get it. And yeah, there's a part of me that wants to be like, you know what, stay your ass at home. But like, I'm going to say this. Stay your ass at home if you so choose. If you choose to go out, make sure that you follow all the rules that everybody else is following. Don't be nasty. Wash your hands. Take care of yourself. Keep yourself healthy. I think that's the only thing you can really ask for. If people are doing what they're supposed to do, keeping themselves healthy, then when they go out in public, they're not necessarily going to be that big of a threat as long as they're kept healthy, right? That's not reasonable logic? I mean, I feel like it is. Like, keep yourself healthy. Then if you're going to go out, just play it smart and take your ass home. Don't just be out like doing the most and acting up and being stupid. We don't got to do all that, but I think it's crazy to expect people just to stay home all the fucking time. That's starting to get kind of absurd. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point where like we're gonna have to figure it out, and it's like every man for themselves at this point. I hate to put it that way, but
yeah, it is. I mean, you got to let people make decisions for themselves, and some people are going to want to go out and other people aren't. I saw that Trump is urging governors to potentially reopen schools for the remainder of the year. I will say I think that one is bogus to me, but only because they already put so much pressure on states to close schools for the remainder of the year and completely ruined any and all plans that people had to finish out the remainder of the year. It seems like it would be pointless to be like, hey, in 2 Mondays from now, everybody needs to go back to school and then try to close out strong. Like, I feel like you're asking too much of people at that point. And you've kind of just jerked them around a little too much. Because, like, at this point, you've had all the parents just teaching for hella long because you already had them make peace with the fact that they're not going to have school for the rest of the year. Like, don't try to undo it now. I mean, it might help them out, but like you might actually just be causing more stress. Because then if in 2 weeks, if some state decides that they want to close their schools again, then every other state is going to do it. So you might as well just keep all the schools closed. That's just my take.
yeah, I mean, we're not going back to school, so it sucks, but
yeah, I know our state had also said that they weren't going back to school for the rest of the year.
So.
What would you do though if you just saw on the news like on Friday it said that like Las Vegas schools opening back up in a week? Would you send your kid to school?
I don't know. That I've thought about that a lot lately. Because even taking her back to school in August, they start August 12th or 13th.
Wow, that's so early.
It's scary. Well, they're out May 20th, so they're like.
Oh yeah. So your school is basically over at this point for real.
Yeah, it gets too hot in August. That's why they're like, nah, we can't have kids in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it is a scary thing. It's hard for me because one day I'll be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Like I'm not gonna live my life here. And then the next day my son will like sneeze and I'll be like, oh my God, like coronavirus all over my house. Disinfect everything.
Coronavirus. That's so funny. Yeah, I don't know. If I was a parent, I don't know if I'd want to send my kids back if they were to come out and be like, yo, we're starting school in a week or two. Because I'd be like, nah. that seems like you're doing too much. Because I feel like if you're to open schools, then I think off top, you have to open everything else. Because school is always a scenario where there's more than 10 people in a room, more than 250 people in like a building or a space at one time. If you're going to do that, then you might as well open up all sports back again, open up the malls. You might as well just basically say, we don't give a shit about this virus thing anymore. Everybody just go back to your normal lives. If you open up schools, you probably need to do the rest of that stuff.
I mean, yeah. That makes sense. But don't get me wrong. I am looking forward to a break for my children. But my son brought the hose into the kitchen today.
Oh, he's lit today.
Oh, he was, yeah. Like, I didn't even have enough towels to clean up the flood that was my kitchen.
Oh, my God. Did you, like, not notice it or something? Or, like, he just had it in there?
No, he was... So, my sliding glass door is attached to my kitchen, and it goes out to our back patio. So, he was out there playing with the hose, but I left the sliding glass door open so I could make my daughter a sandwich because I don't like leaving him out there by himself because we have a pool. So I'm watching him like with the hose and I'm listening to the hose as I'm making the sandwich. And all of a sudden, like my back's turned and I'm like, God, that water sounds like it's really close. And I turn around and he's like standing inside the kitchen right at the sliding glass door with the hose just running all over the floor.
Dang.
And I was like he knew he wasn't supposed to be out there with me or without me. So he was like just standing at the sliding glass door waiting for me. And I was like, oh, dude.
So at least he was doing the right thing in the moment, just was not realizing that the hose stays outside.
I had like a pool in my kitchen. I'm like, thank God I have tile.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's so funny. Hey, shout out to him for knowing the rules, though. Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
We always Xander gets bits and pieces. It's always interesting to see what bits and pieces he registers.
That's funny. Shout out to young Xander. Mr. Hose in the kitchen. Water everywhere. All right. Let me ask you this question. And we've made jokes about this before because Neo wears these type of hats. But have you seen where in New York they have these brimless Yankee fitted hats and people are actually wearing these? I hate it.
I feel like the brimless hat is like the new formal Bowie. Like I can't rock with it. I looked them up. I tried to find like male models that had like an attractive flag with them. Nothing. There's just no point to those things whatsoever.
You know what's crazy is every time I see one, I don't think I'm seeing one. I just assume that like whatever angle I'm looking at the hat, the bill has to just be like on the opposite side. Like, I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, yo, this nigga must have the bill hella flat and it's just like on the other side of his head. And then when you kind of do like a 360 view and you be like, yo, fam, where is the bill of your hat? Like, what is the point of wearing it if it's only just the top part? Why even wear it?
Have you actually seen people wearing them?
Yo, I saw, that's why I put it on the sheet. I saw a video today where a dude literally had a Yankee fitted hat on, and it was brimless. So it's like I couldn't believe it. And then I've seen Neo wear him like in interviews, but he already always looks like a goof anyway. But he had the brimless snapback. So that was what was crazy too, is that Neo's rocking brimless snapbacks. The shit that I saw today was a brimless fitted cap. Why are they brimless? Yeah. I can't get down with that. For me. Like, I can't imagine like if somebody pulled up on me and it was a dude with a brimless Yankee fitted of like a velour sweatsuit and some Timbs, because I feel like that's the outfit you wear if you have a brimless snapback on. You're in a velour fit and it's like a off, like it's like an olive color too. It's not even like a good color. And then you got Timbs on for sure. And then
you
probably
don't like olive?
Yeah, it's olive because it's ugly as hell. So, but like this person thinks that it's hot. If you're wearing a brimless snapback, you probably think the olive velour sweatsuit is hot with the Timbs.
I love olive with that. I'm not even gonna lie.
I think olive is actually kind of a dope color because I wear it too. But an olive velour fit in 2020 with Timbs, that's not hot. You would never wear.
You remember when the Juicy Couture sweatshirt or the sweatsuits were hot? The velour.
Oh my god!
Like 2004 was
you know what? I feel like one time on the show we talked about that, and I feel like Steph said that she was wearing stuff like that. We need to ask her about that. I bet Steph had that whole setup. I could see her doing Italian Mafia with the Juicy Couture, big ass hoop earrings, freaking lip gloss popping. I could see Steph doing that. Probably having like a small like piece in her handbag just in case. Maybe some spray or some brass knuckles. You know how mob people be doing.
That's a gangster.
Keeping it gangster. That shit is crazy.
Definitely somebody I want on my side.
Yeah, there you go. Did you hear about okay, so before we get into Pastor Tony Spell, because I'm going to roast his ass all the way up for trying to flex while he's on house arrest. My man was really trying to flex that he was holding a church service while on house arrest. Weird flex, bro. Okay. But did you hear?
Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, weird flex, but okay. Did you hear about this guy in Utah who's accused of killing a couple after trying to get a job on their landscaping business?
So what? I only saw like the headlines of the articles. I went to look it up. It was like one of the last things.
So
I don't even understand the story. Like what?
Yeah, I didn't really understand it either. So I'm going to pull it up because it was I remember it being a really short read. And when I read it, it sounded like he basically, the weird thing is the picture is like a male and a female. And I guess the female like tried to help him cover it up.
Wow.
But yeah, I guess what happened was a neighbor reported hearing a woman screaming and then hearing gunshots. On arrival, police discovered Catherine. So it says that Albert Johnson is the guy who I guess is the shooter. He's accused of breaking into the home of Catherine and Tony Butterfield and fatally shooting both while their 3 children were asleep upstairs.
Damn.
Yeah, so this is crazy. So apparently Albert's sorry ass broke in. The neighbor called the police because they heard screaming and gunshots. When the police arrived, they discovered Catherine's body inside and her husband's body was in the backyard. It appeared that there had been a fight between Tony and Albert. So this is crazy. And their kids are ages 3 and 4. Damn, they're so young. But I guess Albert and his wife, they had been charged. She had been charged with tampering with evidence and obstruction of justice after helping her husband discard bloody clothes, which that's crazy. But I wonder if she knew why his clothes were bloody, because I could see him being like, oh, like I cut myself or like I got in a fight or I was helping somebody. And maybe she's just like, oh, okay, well, let me take it and I'll throw it away. She probably had no idea. or she's a scumbag too and helped him do this shit. But either way, it sounded like Buddy got into it with these people because he tried to get a job with Tony's landscaping business, and I guess the guy declined him. Now, I know times are hard, but they're not worth killing for. It's not that hard out here. I don't know, is it? Maybe for some people it is. I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. I was going to say there's a few people on my list, but then I forgot
Yo, shout out to Priscilla out here wilding on Track Talk Radio. Sorry, Sherry. Sherry, don't worry. We are not plotting murders. I promise you that. Oh, we had people in here talking in the chat. So I don't know what.
Steph said she was in there.
I don't know what Steph's saying. What's wrong with that? She's talking about her Juicy Couture. Definitely not with Dennis, though. Who's Dennis? I don't know. See, that's why we were just yapping away. I missed all this in the chat. Oh, okay. Shout out to y'all. I don't know. I got to watch this more often. Anyway, let's get to Pastor Tony. Did a story on Pastor Tony because he violated the stay-at-home order to hold church services, and then he was arrested for assault. I want to say this is the same guy that tried to run somebody over with the church van. So he's on house arrest, I'm pretty sure, because he tried to run a guy over who had been protesting him. And if I remember correctly, even after the fact, the guy who was protesting, who also was the victim in the hit and run, went to the jail and continued to protest him. So Tony tried to run him over, which in most cases is actually attempted murder, maybe, or vehicular manslaughter. I don't know all the technical terms. But either way, Tony is on house arrest, right? But because he's a white dude, he's above the law. Oh yes, Steph, you're right. We were talking about Dennis Rodman. Why was I blanking on why you had Dennis in the chat? Makes total sense now. Anyway, but my man Tony, another white guy who thinks he's above the law, is flexing to the congregation that he's performing the church service while being on house arrest. This is the most cornball shit I've ever seen. And I'm surprised that they didn't automatically just violate him and then send him to jail. Because isn't that what they do to most people? When you violate probation, don't they just...
Yeah, do you even get like a second chance?
Bro, this is crazy. So he literally in the video, he holds up his leg and everything and points out the fact that he's got the ankle monitor on. Literally at church, flexing that he's on house arrest. Tony, go to hell. Just for being stupid, go to hell. Oh my God. This guy is really out here doing, fam, you're on house arrest because you tried to run a human being over with a church van. Now you're at church and the people in there are praising and celebrating him. It's crazy to me. I have to say this. I will never understand how you guys can do these things. You can go into the ocean and get in cages and swim with sharks. You'll jump out of planes. You'll celebrate being on house arrest at a church. But you guys still lock the door and tuck your purse close when you walk past black people. I don't get it, man. White people are very confusing. Very, very confusing.
I swam with shark though. You can't hate. I swam with shark.
But if we're being honest, aren't white people real quick to do stuff like that? Let's go do all these extreme sports, jump off buildings and freaking do bungee jump, all this crazy stuff, but then literally be scared of black people. That's just so crazy to me. How is swimming with sharks though? Was that something that you would ever do again? Would you recommend that on Yelp?
Oh yeah.
It's not like, okay, how big? What's the biggest shark that you saw when you were down there?
Like 8 feet.
8 feet. That's it. Oh, so you wasn't swimming with like no great whites or nothing. So you wasn't really doing white people stuff then. Oh, got it.
They were nurse sharks, and basically they like gather at these sandbars because I did it as a tourist thing. So these sharks gather in these areas because they know that these fishermen are going to come out with all these Americans, right, and feed them.
Gotcha.
So they're not like super starving for food or anything. I mean, it's pretty much like no different than seeing animals at the zoo. Like they've been socialized. So.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm talking about the stuff I be seeing on videos where they're in those big ass cages and freaking jaws is pulling up on them and bumping into the shit, and they're just like they're unfazed by. I'm like, you're that close with that gigantic freaking shark, and you don't seem phased at all. That seems crazy to me. I don't think I could do that. I'm not doing that.
You know what I'd love to do is swim next to like a blue whale. Or like something that's just like a whale shark or something that's like 60 feet long.
Oh, that scares me. Oh my God. You know what? When I was in Hawaii, I'm going to tell you this. When I went to Hawaii a couple years ago, what is the thing when you're paddleboarding? I did the paddleboarding thing, right? And something under there felt like it hit my foot. Damn near, I almost shit on myself. Because I didn't know if something was going to jump out of the water and then swallow me whole. I'm sure there's plenty of things big enough out there to do that. Or something's going to bite my leg off and I was going to end up, they're going to be calling me Wheels or something like that because I was going to be in my rascal after that. I was having all kinds of nightmares in that moment. Like, holy shit. When that thing touched my foot, I was about to freak out. So I'm not swimming with no sharks. I'm not swimming with whales. We're not doing none of that. You'll be lucky to see me in the water ever again. But paddleboarding was kind of lit. I feel like if you can do that in Hawaii, like when I see people out on Lake Washington doing that, I'm like, y'all are weak. Because I was out in Hawaii, the wind was kicking, there was big ass waves and shit, and I actually was able to stand up on that thing, man. So I can't wait to go back to Hawaii, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to get bit by a shark. That would be crazy. I'm creeped out just thinking about it, man. I can't believe you've done that. Swim with sharks? Are you crazy, girl?
I don't know. I've always been obsessed with. Well, my dad used to be a scuba diver for a living. He used to weld underwater on oil rigs, and then he's been a smoker for a majority of his life. So by 28, they were like, "You need to retire, bro.
Damn,
your lungs can't take it anymore."
Yeah. Damn. Shout out to Pops. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I see that stuff and I'm like, it looks interesting. Like I wouldn't mind maybe going down there and like, snorkeling and seeing what's under the water. But then I'm like, fam, I just know I don't have what it takes to survive a shark attack. And that's enough to keep me out of the water. No need to risk it. Okay. Do you know who Gervonta Davis is? He's this boxer guy. You ever heard of him?
I have not. I do not know.
I haven't heard much either, but so this always bad. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised or baffled because obviously people rent jewelry, lease cars, rent homes, and they do all this stuff just to stun on people. But I thought this was interesting because normally when I've seen this gentleman post or heard of him posting, it always seems like he's pretty like caked up. He's a boxer. He wins a lot of his matches. From what I hear, he's probably getting money. But he tried to pay for $250,000 worth of jewelry with a fake check. First of all, I didn't even really know people still use checks like that.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, I don't even have a checkbook.
I don't either. And I haven't had one for some years. I think I do have like a sheet that has like 5 emergency checks on it. I have no idea where that shit is. It's somewhere though. This is confusing to me because I feel like if you write a check for 250 racks, that's going to be something people are like checking on. That's a big check.
Right.
Why would you try to Why would you try to do? And just for jewelry, like not even for something that really, like, I don't. It's not anything. Like, what do you need jewelry right now for? You're just at home. Like you don't have
Right?
other
Flexing on
jewelry.
Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. So you literally might end up maybe potentially going to jail for fraud because you're trying to flex on IG. It's interesting to me. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about this dude. Maybe this story is fake. Um, who knows? But it seems very interesting that at a time like this, that is something that he's trying to do. I could see if maybe you was trying to finesse like a bunch of free food or like a backup generator for your house or something, or like 10,000 wipes and like 80,000 rolls of toilet paper. Like if you was trying to write a fake check for that, I see some shit like that going down. But like for jewelry, fam, this hardly seemed worth it. Priscilla, would you do this? Would you write a check that big just to get some jewelry?
Hell no. I'm like, I brag about being cheap. Like when I get a good deal on something, I'm like, hey, I got this for $5.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I do wear. I always have my chain on, and I always used to have my other one, but that shit broke while I was playing basketball. But I'm not really a jewelry person. I wear my earrings from time to time, but even those, I'm like, it's just too flashy. What do I need this shit for? I mean, I'm ugly with it, ugly without it. It don't matter. It ain't helping me none. Um, let's see. We got about 20 more minutes. Well, we got about 10 more minutes, and then we're gonna let the Track Talk radio heads dive back into the music. I got two more things I want to riff on. I don't know if I sent you this video. I don't feel like I did send it to people because I think the account that I saw it on is private. But I saw a video pop up today of a white cop punching a 14-year-old teen while trying to cuff him or her. I don't know. It's hard to tell if it's a girl or a boy. So this is
Lovely.
Yeah, 14 years old. You can see it on the video, this young child being punched. Now, again, I always say this because this is a child. It does not matter what the child has done because in this scenario, this adult has the upper hand regardless. There's the issue of height and weight. That is a difference. Age and experience obviously is a difference. The fact that the cop has a vest and a belt full of weapons that he can use at his disposal. And obviously the fact that he's been trained in hand-to-hand combat. There really is zero reason for you to have to try to like be overly tough with the teenager. Even if the kid resists, it's easy to get control of a child, especially when you're like 3 times the size of him. I think these cops pretend to struggle because they want to have a reason to hurt him. That's just my opinion. And I know that's going to be so crazy, and a lot of people are going to be upset that I said that. But a cop like this, when I watch this video, it looks like he's purposely struggling to cuff him so he has a reason to keep beating the shit out of him. Priscilla, you want to know what this is all over? They were arrested over some Swisher Sweets.
Wow. Oh, wow. What the hell? Was he stealing them? Like, what was he doing?
It didn't really give a lot of details. It actually says no further details have been released. It literally is just the video, and then I guess the teenager who's in the video being attacked, that person's brother spoke out, or it's the best friend. Yeah, and they were talking about how they said it was over a Swisher Sweet. The officer had no reason to brutalize and traumatize this boy. So it was a boy. And I guess he had pre-existing health condition, which could be fatal under this kind of stress. I mean, at one point he's seen like pushing his head down into the ground and then giving him some punches to the stomach and chest area, and then like restraining him. Yeah, this is bad. And the teen looks very, very like frail and thin. It's not a big kid by any means. And then the cop looks like Uncle Fester from Addams Family.
No.
Yeah. That shit is just crazy. Very, very disheartening to watch that. Especially because, I mean, again, this is like the stuff that we constantly are trying to get people to understand. It's not the job, it's not just the badge, because obviously the idea of law enforcement, it's a wonderful idea to have people that can protect the communities that we all live in and walk around every single day. That's fantastic. But the problem is that we put some of these people in these positions, and these people are not cut out to do these jobs because they have mental and emotional instabilities. That's obvious on the video. Like I said, regardless of what the teen is doing, like, you mean to tell me you're really trying to punk out a kid over some Swisher Sweets? Like, do you guys know what those are? Little janky ass bullshit cigarillos. Like, they're nothing. That's not a reason to end up on videotape kicking the shit out of a 14-year-old. It's unbelievable. Some of these people are not cut out to do this job. We're not disrespecting law enforcement. We're disrespecting the people that wear this badge and choose to go out every day and make mistakes like this. Because he knows in his mind there's no reason for him to do this to this kid. Regardless of how the kid is mouthing off to you or whatever the case may be, my man, if you feel like you are having a hard day, you're not above taking a personal day to get your mental health in order. And that's the problem. You have a lot of these men and women who have way too much pride and feel like, well, if I take a day off, I'm going to look weak. Maybe some of you motherfuckers need to take a day off so you get your fucking heads on straight, so you're not on tape abusing your authority and beating up on small fucking children. Just a fucking suggestion. No one should be above getting some fucking help. And these cops, man, they're so garbage for shit like this. It's crazy. This is the fucking world we live in. Literally watching that boy get abused on a video. 14 years old over some fucking gross little gas station cigarettes. Like, get the fuck out of here. Oh! Horrible. All right. Priscilla, this is our last thing. Do you know who Diamond and Silk are?
Do I know who what?
Diamond and Silk. These are, I guess these are Lynette Diamond Hardaway and Rochelle Silk Gardner. Or Gardner, I don't know. I couldn't read it. It popped up too quick. Apparently, these are two black ladies who are Trump supporters. They're big time Trump supporters, but I guess they were hired they were hired on by Fox News for some type of job to, I don't know, do something. And I guess they were fired today. But I only put them on the sheet because I thought it was funny when D.L. Hughley posted this on his IG today. He referred to them as pork and beans. And that had me dead. And I don't know why it's funny, but maybe it's just because I was looking at their picture and he literally put their nickname up as pork and beans. Oh my God, that was so funny. So I don't know. I guess they're social media personalities and Trump supporters. And I don't know why. So I guess they were promoting conspiracy theories. And Fox News was not happy about that. And they were accused recently of just basically saying a bunch of shit that wasn't true. And so I think
that's right.
Yeah, I'd never really heard of them. So it says they got attention during the 2016 election after Trump featured them during his rallies. In 2018, the two were offered a weekly slot on Fox's streaming outlet. But now, after promoting conspiracy theories and disinformation about the coronavirus, the two have been removed. That's pretty funny. I mean, I'm going to say this. I try not to be, like I said, I come from a black woman, so I'm not going to I try not to step out of turn when it comes to this, but like these two butterball turkeys are garbage. And I'm saying that because if they've invested their time to support 45, it's no wonder you were fired. And of course, in order for you to keep up appearances, you go on your social media platform and you're like spreading lies and then selling people that you represent Donnie and his whole clique and his whole rhetoric. For that, you get called butterball turkeys. That's all I got to say about it. Only because I feel like that's a funny ass nickname. It's not as good as pork and beans, but these two butterball turkeys, I feel like it's pretty funny. Oh, I'm gonna send you this real quick so you can see how stupid these people look. That shit is funny.
Yeah, so it's funny.
Yeah, I just sent it to you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they either look like two gigantic brown M&Ms, and not just because they're black.
Real people? Like,
they're
actors.
These are real people. They're not actors. That's the thing, is that I think they firmly believe the shit that they stand on or stand in, because they literally stand in their own shit when they talk. They probably think the same thing about our show. But Diamond and Silk, if you want to ever come on here and argue, I mean, you're more than welcome. I'm probably not going to be listening. I'm probably going to make fun of you the whole time. And that's mainly just because you support somebody who supports hate. So you're automatically garbage to me. I can't respect you. I will listen to what you might have to say just so I can take it and poke holes in all your theories and then basically discredit you, because that's what most people will do to a Trump supporter. But at the same time, like you almost don't even seem like believable humans to me, because you opt to support Trump, who's so fucking garbage. Like I said, my nickname wasn't as good as pork and beans, but butterball turkeys is pretty funny. Hold up. I was reading the comment. I think Markel's asking if they were strippers. Markel, if you're asking if Diamond and Silk were strippers, I don't know, but I hope they were not. And if they were only working the day shift on Tuesdays and Thursdays, probably. Priscilla, we're about to close out. You got any last words for the people?
I'm tapped tonight, honestly.
What are your plans?
You know what it
tomorrow?
is? I smoke.
You smoke today? You that's probably why you're just too turned up right now.
Pretty much. Thank you.
That's how you should be. That's probably how I'm about to get. We're about to let this music play for a little bit. Turn this stream off, and then we're gonna get ready for Thursday. Where is the Surviving R.Kelly thing streaming? Is that on any of these platforms?
It's on Netflix.
Okay, so I definitely got that. I'm gonna check that out tomorrow.
You have to watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna start it tomorrow because I want to get into it. I gotta mentally prepare, man. Like, some of the stories I've heard from this, I'm like, this shit just seemed too crazy. Like, I'm probably gonna be cussing at the TV the whole time. But yeah, well, we had a good show. If you're listening on Track Talk Radio, we're about to throw you back to the music. Like I said, today is Tuesday, April 28th. Man, we are almost in May. So I hope you guys are staying healthy, and hopefully you're not driving yourselves or your significant others or your kids too crazy. Hopefully you're not letting them drive you too crazy. I have a gut feeling that maybe this shit's going to be over soon. I'm probably 100% wrong, but let's think of this shit as glass half full rather than half empty. Good things are coming soon. It's just all about how you believe. I don't know. I'm just trying to give you some positive feedback. Just pick one of those and maybe go with it for the week. Priscilla, we're going to be back on Thursday if you want. If not, I'll be here. You should tune in, crack jokes, leave comments. And then I don't know. I really don't have a whole lot else. We're going to just close out. It was fun. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to call you tomorrow. That's all I got for you. Tonight. Oh, I'm definitely going to sleep tonight because that's what I do at night. I go to sleep. So I try to go to sleep. So I'm definitely gonna do that. But appreciate everyone that was in the chat. Markel was in the chat. Steph was in the chat. Big Baby Jonathan came through. Shout out to him. Shout out to his podcast, man. It's Nothing But Lakers, which is super dope. That's my squad. I don't know. Priscilla, you have any shout outs? Anybody you want to give some love to? Any of your people back here in Washington?
Shout out to James since he just left us. No.
I don't know. James had told me like a week or so ago that he was getting a new job, man. He's got to make sure those dollars keep rolling in. So shout out to James. James has been working hard, but we look forward to having him back on the show at some point. He just gotta get on it, give us a call or something. So, but shout out to my man, who's always grinding, getting his money, taking care of his family. Shout out to Steph. Shout out to all of our people, man. I mean, I feel like I don't want to speak for Priscilla, but I feel like for the most part, all the people that we are all connected to and affiliated with are all healthy and in good spirits. So I think that's something to be thankful for. Yeah. All right. Well, we're out of here. The stream is being closed. Track Talk Radio is going to the music. You guys have a good night. It's been real. All right.